Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth. I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. And this, my darlings, is our daily pulse for Thursday, the 30th of April, the last day of April. I just feel the need to say this to you now. Love, love, love. Do, do, do. Love, love, love. Do, do, do. Love, 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 love. And the reason I say that to you is because it is the year of number 4. It is 2020. We see number 4 is here again today. But I forget, and we forget, that number 4, 2020, is also the year of love, love, love. It's the fourth heart chakra. It's the 4th chakra, or heart chakra, or heart space. And I tell you what, I was tiring, I'll be honest, yesterday, of the relentlessness of this coronavirus that we find ourselves in. And it was quite difficult, actually. And then my next door neighbour asked if I would do it's my dad's birthday. She said, I'll do a little video. And I sang that, and it's not the whole song, just that, when I said to you, and I told him that, and I said, you know what, and you know what, it made me feel better. So I just wanted to, hopefully, it did make me feel better, that reminder. Now, my darlings, we will, of course, start with the card at the base of our reading before moving on to our key message. Whoa, I knew something didn't look right. Before moving on to our key message, and then looking at what's facing me today, what's hidden from me today, from my conscious mind, and then finally, what is our blessing. Now, I want to talk about these things just before. I'm going to give me 30 seconds of your time, my darlings. Personal readings. I forgot to mention them yesterday. I've had a few emails about personal readings and about Reiki, how to teaching Reiki, because obviously I am a Reiki master and teacher. People want some advice on that. I'm doing as I keep telling you, this week I'm doing your in-depth, and it's longer than a month, so you need to wait and see for this one. It's longer than a month, guys, okay? Your in-depth individual star sign readings, which is a huge undertaking, but I'm going to be doing some more of those today, and so I need to get those out of the way before I start to do personal readings again. I'll be doing personal readings probably over WhatsApp or Skype, video calling, or something like that. As of Reiki, I still do not know how I want to teach Reiki, but I might, and please ask if you would like this as well, I might start doing extra videos about Reiki. About what Reiki is, about how it's used, how it's applied, how it can be helpful to us, etc., and maybe give some meditation techniques, etc. So if you think that's something that you might be interested in as well, just let me know in the comments, and I will actually increase Reiki to the content, the output. I'm very precious of my little Reiki. Little, it's everything. It's literally everywhere in the world, but the whole entire universe. But I digress. But I'm very protective of the information that I give out about Reiki, just because there's so much noise out there, just like there is about tarot, actually. And I really want to give people the right, not the right stuff, if you will, but I want it to be a value, I should say, the Reiki lessons that I give. So yeah, if you need help and advice or want that as well, let me know below. And finally, I'm going to be doing your astrology. It's the last day of April today, and we're moving into May. And we have started retrograde season. Now, usually on Instagram, I always put the astrology transits, but we know what happened at the beginning of April. So I just didn't do it for April, but I will do it for May, because the retrograde season, when all those planets start going retrograde, it actually started on the 25th. And I don't know about you guys, but I felt a little bit sort of, let's say, contemplative since then, and it was only when I looked yesterday or the day before that I realised it was retrograde season, and we're in it, and we're going to be coming into it a lot more in May. So I'll keep your eye out. I'll probably post at the same time as your extended readings, to be fair, but keep your eye out for the astrology for the month of May. Very interesting time period coming up, so I'll give you as much information as I can in my unique way. Okay, my darlings, let's get on with the card at the base of our reading, and that is the Four of Wands. I mean, do you want me to sing it again? Love. Well, actually, this card actually really does indicate love, 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 doesn't it? And the card on the base of a reading is the overall um perspective, if you will, darlings, the overall perspective of this day that we have in front of us, and it is the Four of Wands. I will give you the brief number 4 because you're sick of me talking about the number 4s, but as I keep telling you guys, it's the year of the number 4. It's the 4th month, so we should not be surprised to see all these number 4s, because this ain't no coincidence, guys. This is their daily pulse. Okay. So number 4s are about the structures in our lives, the structures that we create, the structures that exist, the structures that we uphold with our actions. They are about the things that we need to help us to feel secure, or the things that we establish, if you will, to help us to feel secure and stable. And in this instance, with it being Wand energy, it's about our passionate and our pleasurable and our what we like. What's that word called when you like something? When you like something, desirable. Oh, anyway, yeah, I got it. Desirable, the desirable things that we need to help us feel secure, the passionate things that we need in our lives that help us feel secure, etc., etc., etc. This is what the Four of Wands represents. Now, people call this card for shorthand the marriage card, and that's because it's the non-negotiables, if you will, the things that you need that are necessary in your life in order for this level, in order to build, a life on, if you will, in order to further build a life. So this is establishing that sort of status quo, and understanding the status quo necessary for you to help you feel secure, to help you feel like, okay, this is what I can build on. And this is that energy today. So that's what's permeating the energies for us today, with the Four of Wands. Now, with what's the first card again? Key message. I do this every day. You think I know, and I've got it written down. I still write it down. I still write down the day every day. I mean, I should know, should I? Because I do this every day, and I say the same thing every day. Anyway, so we start with the key message, my darlings. We start with the key message, and that is the 8 of Wands. And you can see, and I can see 4 + 4 is 8, and we've got the 8 here as well. And we know what's beautiful about this energy is this energy is related to karmic cycles, because it's the number of infinity, it's the number of 8, it's the number of karmic cycles, which is also the number of strength, also the number of experiences that show us our strength, experiences that show us and reveal to us more about who we are. That's what number 8 relates to. And Wand energy again is your life force, your chi, your key, the literally the energy, that the force that animates you, the force that moves you, the force that gets you up in the morning, the force that makes you bake that cake, the force that makes you go for that jog every day, and that force does not come from your brain. And actually, it was Buried Treasure yesterday, wasn't it? Buried Treasure was the title of yesterday's reading, and you can look at that if you've not watched that. The link's below. Buried Treasure. And it wasn't until I got to the end of the day that I actually realized, I do this. I go, oh my God, that actually came true for me, that reading. Because what happened was we had to dig, didn't we? We had to go through some sort of interesting or intense emotions, or confront some feelings yesterday. But beneath that, what I realized and recognized was my sort of reaction and response, and the amount that I hear this Wand energy, and the amount that I hear how different it feels to our minds. So as I said, this is the force of getting up and going for a jog. This is all the stuff that Sword energy instead is the okay, I should get up and go for a jog, I should do this, I should go for a run, I should go for a run, and we convince ourselves to go for a run, and then we force ourselves to go for a run, and we don't like that run. What we need to just do is we just need to wait for that force to just hit us. That's what I've learned, basically, and it's good to be able to be so responsive to that, and for this to be amplified for me personally over the last couple of weeks. We have the 8 of Wands, and really what this energy represents is as your key message. It's new energies coming in. It's new experiences coming towards us. It's new feelings, new responses, new instinctual responses, and new reactions. New reactions that we're having. So we're responding in new ways to what we're receiving. We're responding in new ways to the messages that we're getting. We're responding in new ways to the things that we're feeling or seeing or thinking about today. That's what this talks about. It gives us an indication that you are starting to feel differently, to react differently. And I remember when I did our light working message last week, and I did the light working message last week simply because it felt like I just knew I had to do one. I went with the feeling. I followed this feeling and I just did it. And oh my gosh, how you're learning. Oh my God, I was reading Pistis Sophia last night. Oh my God, the Gnostic Gospel, which I haven't read for ages and ages. And I just this last night just got the urge to just open the app. I've got the app. I bought it, £1.50. And I just had the urge to open the app for the first time. And I've read, and if you've ever read, I suppose it's like an archaic text, really. I suppose so. If you've ever read like the Bible or anything sort of old like that, the language is all like, quite complicated and convoluted. But so I've not looked at it. I'm on chapter 98. And I just opened it and I just read the chapter, and it was all about higher learning. Can you believe it? And that's what we've been talking about this week. It was all about our higher learning. It was all about the gifts that we receive. It was all about light workers. Oh God, I'll be here all day if I try to explain to you guys 98 chapters of the story of Pistis Sophia, or the Gospel of Pistis Sophia. But needless to say, I reacted differently to what I read. It was a lot more. The learning is happening. And this is what we see and feel today, and really concretely recognize, all of us today, that the learning is happening. Okay, we'll move on to the 4 next. Okay, so we've got what's facing us today. So we know we've got this new energy coming in, and the light working message last week was to pay attention to the way that we're working, to pay attention to the messages that we're receiving, or the feelings that we're receiving, or the responses that we're having. Pay attention to them, because we're going to be working differently from now on. I did that light working message, I think it was last weekend, or as in the weekend before last. Anyway, you find it. Light working message, you'll see it. It's in Key Wisdom playlist. Tiny's on the front. And I did that message because that's exactly, that message was needed for the light workers, for us sensitive souls, for those people that do this type of work, or that work with the healing of others, that work with the expansion of others, that work with the spiritual expansion of others, which is really what we do as light workers. We work to help to increase our own awareness, hello Tiny, and everyone else's awareness, because that's healing. And I gave us all the heads up last week and said, listen, notice how you're feeling, notice what you're responding, because you're going to be working differently. And we're all getting that message today. Notice how you're feeling, notice how you're responding. And again, further emphasised by this energy of the 4 of Swords. Now, sword energy, as you know, is about your conscious mind, your awareness and your engagement with that. It's about your logic and your reason and your perspective. And number 4, again, about our foundations and the structures. So what makes up, the corners of your mind, and memories like the corners of my mind. We sang that in choir at school, and I just love that song. Anyway, it's true. It's interesting because we don't have, or I do not have, any corners in my mind anymore. I used to, when I started meditation, there were places that I didn't want to go. There were things that I didn't want to think about. There were doors that were closed, man, and I just did not open them. And sometimes I actually imagined myself in meditation when I was doing my meditation, as I talked about on Tuesday and Wednesday. What I actually imagined myself doing was opening those doors. I would be like, I'd be in meditation. I'd be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I would open that door and imagine in my brain, I'd imagine myself opening that door to that corner of my mind. And because I said to myself, I don't want there to be any place in my brain that I don't want to go. And I really hope that we're all pushing out. We're all noticing these locked doors in our minds, and we're actually all going to these corners of our minds today, because that's what this energy represents. Remember, how you used to react isn't how you're going to react today. That's what this card tells us. How it felt 3 years ago when you opened that door in your mind to look into, it is not going to feel like that today. We're getting new energy, we're getting new information, we're getting new memories, we're feeling differently about the things that hide there, that live within the crevices of our minds. You know, allow yourself to be free. I realized yesterday that these 3 words are synonymous: love, truth, and freedom. They're synonymous. And go on, my ex-pupils here watching, what does synonymous mean? What's the synonym? okay, I'll get out of English teacher mode. They're synonymous in that they all mean the same. Fundamentally, truth equals love equals freedom. They are all the same word. And so to love yourself, to have that compassion for yourself, is about that freedom. It's about being free to think. It's about being free to feel. It's about being free to explore, being free to engage with yourself mentally. And this is exactly what we see here. And actually, we're being support. I can feel it. As I'm saying that now, I can feel that support for us. I can feel the support that's there for us today. No matter how scurvy those shadows are in the corners of your mind, my darling, what lurks behind those doors, what I learned is it's just me. Yeah, it might be a scared little part of me, it might be a traumatized little part of me, but it's still just me. Like, I ain't gonna meet no demons or nothing like that, and neither are you. You're not gonna fall in, well, I won't say that actually, because maybe some people do, to be fair. Not the demons part. I told you demons don't exist. Demons are wrathful deities. Oh my gosh, can you believe as well? Oh my gosh. So I explained to you, didn't I, that the kings, the queens, the queens, etc., the princes in tarot, they all represent individual levels of or growing levels of maturity, or maturing levels of awareness within a certain energy. So we learn, and then we learn how to apply our energies. We learn how to accept things, for example, and then we mature, we become stronger, we do things differently, etc., etc. And I say to you, the reason I know that all these cards are about change is because this is long. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it describes, I mean, it's pages and pages and pages of 68 or of each, I think, peaceful deities and wrathful deities. The peaceful deity is this. So it's like, okay, I'm now in a place where I can act on what I feel. That's the peaceful deity. The wrathful deity is the energy that it takes to get to that level of understanding. That's all it means. It's not a thing, it's not an entity. Beautifully and interestingly and coincidentally, when I was reading the Pistis Sophia yesterday, the Gnostic Gospel, just randomly, chapter 96, it actually, and it doesn't describe it in the same way. As I said, this language is all there like this, but I identified the same thing, the equivalent, if you will, the equivalent of these energies. I identified the equivalent of the King of Wands mentioned by Jesus. I found that, and it was I was like, oh my God, because anyway, I mean, I could tell you, you know, when Jesus went, I think when Jesus went to the desert, he went to India, you know, to learn to be Buddha and to learn about Buddhism. Anyway, I mean, because the things that he talks about, if you look at the Gnostic Gospels, the thing that he talks about really is about the spiritual path, the spiritual journey, which is exactly the same thing that is spoken about in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is exactly the same thing spoke about in the Book of Thoth, which is exactly the same thing spoke about in the beautiful tarot that we see in front of us. So all these things are connected, people. Oh my God. Anyway, okay, so I just thought I'd tell you that. I don't know why I digress so much. However, let's have a look at now what is hidden. You know, go to the corners of your mind today, because oh my gosh, I mean, see, look, we've got the foresight, we've got the wisdom, we've got the view from above. We can see. This is good, because this means that you are going to be going to the corners of your mind. You know, freedom equals love. That's the same. This is what we can see everything. We can look at everything. There's no stone left unturned. And this is not it's beautiful, because I'm going back again to the gospel, the Gnostic gospel text that I'm reading last night. Some of the imagery that they use is exactly like this, that the description is something like I'll try to paraphrase. Once you get your awareness, Jesus says to Mary Magdalene and the disciples, because Mary Magdalene, she asked all the questions. Please do not be angry at me. Do not be wrathful with me, Jesus. But I don't understand this. That's like me. That's what I feel like. She's a number 7, Mary Magdalene. You won't find this nasty gospel in the Bible, obviously, but it exists. Anyway, and she says, excuse me, Jesus, she says, not excuse me, but please do not be wrathful with me, but I don't understand what you mean. And anyway, what he says is basically, once you reach that level, you reach this level, there's the first mystery, and there's 12 mysteries in the first mystery. And I don't know, I can't believe I know this stuff. How do I know this stuff? I don't know how we're even saying it all. Anyway, there's 12 mysteries into the first mystery. And once you get to the 12 mysteries, which is basically what the 12th mystery is kind of like this. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, we are more than just body. Oh my gosh, I am more than just my physical body. Oh my gosh, the world and my reality is more than just what I see, for example. Yeah, so that's kind of like the 12th mystery in a nutshell. I mean, basic, but kind of. And anyway, when you reach the 12th mystery, when you have the understanding, Jesus says in the Gnostic Gospel, you will rise up to the sky, like faster than, like, you become light, if you will. And it's that expansion, isn't it? So you become light, you rise up to the sky, and you go through every region, you pass through every region with no explanation, with no gifts, with no explanation. You don't have to give anyone any gifts on your way up, because you already have reached that knowledge of wisdom. And this is basically what you see. So you get up to there once you have that #walk moment, which is what Jesus describes in the Gnostic text, which is what is described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, aka the Great Liberation by Hearing in the Intermediate States, which is also described in the Book of Thoth, the Egyptian afterlife, journey into the afterlife, and also described as the journey of the fool in tarot. This is where you see everything. This is where you get all the knowledge. This is where you have all the knowledge. And I even said last night when I was reading that book, and I was reading the gospel, and I was going to, about 1 o'clock, I was going to bed anyway, and I even said to myself, I said, you know what, this all, like, you just know stuff. Like, you just know stuff. Because when he talks about you pass through those regions, I mean, it takes 78 chapters to describe the regions, and I've read every single word of them, and believe me, I can't sit here and describe them to you now. However, just know that within each of those regions, if you will, within each of those mysteries, is these type of energies, or this type of work, is that type of reflection, is that type of awareness. And you go on this journey, and you don't, as I said, you don't sort of retain every single word that you've learned, but you just know it. Once you get to a certain stage, once you get to a certain level of understanding, once you get to a certain level of #wokeness, which is also described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is also described in the Gnostic Gospels, which is also described in the Book of Thoth, which is also described in the Tarot. Once you get to that state of #walk, you just know stuff. You just have an understanding of stuff. You just see those links and those connections. And this is really telling you, again, as I said to you, you need to be paying attention, to the information that you're getting, to the ways that you're getting that information, because you know more stuff today. You have a better understanding today. You have learned stuff. So today, this is what helps you feel secure. As I said, it seemed counterproductive, doesn't it, when when there were certain things that I was doing that didn't seem, Ruth, the sensible thing to do, is you have a career, you have a partner, you have a house, you do that. That's a sensible thing to do. That will make you feel secure, because you'll have regular income, you'll have the status, blah, 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 blah. But I did something different, didn't I? And this is the security that I got. I got the security of number 4. The other security was what numbers would that have been? That's 7 and 8, the security that I previously had. 7 and 8, it was 7 and 8. That old security of, right, have the job, have the this, have the that. This is the security that we need This is the security that we build on. This is what we build on, because this is saying, right, this is who I am. This is what I need. Remember, the structures are about love. So the things that you do have got to show yourself that you love yourself. By your actions, show yourself that you matter. That's basically what this card means. By my actions, show myself that I matter. That do things that show me I matter to myself. That's basically what this card means. And that's how I'm going to build my life. That's what I'm going to base my life on. The things that I do from now on are going to be based on that. I'm going to show myself that I matter, that I am important, that I deserve compassion, and that I deserve, number 4, love. And you have, what's hidden maybe is all the things that you have learned. And I want you to understand and to know, this is why it's so important that we notice today. We notice the information that's coming through. We notice how we respond to that information, because you have learned so much and gained so much over this past few weeks. And as we move into the retrograde, well, we're in retrograde season now, and as it intensifies retrograde season, you know, this is where we're literally going back. It's as if we go from 20 to the 21, the world card, back to judgment, back to tower, back to, you know, you go back, well, back to the sun, back to the moon, back to the, you know, we go back like that with retrograde. What we do with retrograde, we're now in retrograde season, is we look at all that stuff. We look at the path that we've just been walking, and we look at the wisdom that it gave us. We look at the lessons that we learned. We look at the experiences that we had and how it felt. And it's some of that today that we're being sort of geared up. Really today, what's hidden from us is that we're being geared up to sort of have that influx of information, have that influx of energy that come toward us. So let's have a look finally then, my darlings. Our blessing. See, I mean, listen, sing hallelujah. He's taken a bit of a religious tone, and I'm not particularly, not that I'm not religious, as you know, because I told you I got an A star in RE at GCSE, babe. I got an A star. I'm a Reiki master. I'd read my spiritual books. But I'm a spiritual, darling, which means I, as opposed to religious, but we've taken that type of turn today. And as I said, I only say the difference between spirituality and religion is that religion, the freedom is not there. It's a great structure to learn. It's a great structure to learn within. Think about the Hierophant. It's a great structure to learn within. It's religion, because you learn the code, the moral codes, the ideas, the themes of will, of morality, etc. We learn those things within our religions, our organised religions, those people that observe them. But spirituality, which is what Jesus talks about, which is what the Tarot talks about, which is what the Book of Thoth talks about, which is what the Zebekan Book of the Dead talks about, they talk about spirituality, is about our freedom and our own personal relationship with, you can say God, you can say universe, you can say the ultimate nature of reality. That's what spirituality is. So for me, I mean, I know you know that, but so yes, the blessing comes. Now, I told you, whenever I see this card, I say hallelujah, even though it is known as the Dark Night of the Soul, for shorthand 9 of Swords. And that's because we know that number 9 is all about, we talked about the 9th house, didn't we? You know that number 9, here it is. It's about all the things that I'm talking about today. So it's unsurprising that we get a number 9, religion and philosophy, higher learning, foreign countries, overseas. That came out the last time with the number 9, didn't it? This card, which is a 3, which is all about expansion anyway. But anyway, it came out. There was a number 9 and the world card. Anyway, foreign countries, overseas travel, dreams, spirituality, synchronicities. So Jupiter, Sagittarius fire. So we know that number 9s are about those things, and they're about engaging with those things. Philosophy, asking questions about our life, about your life, about your existence. Why am I here? What am I feeling? What is happening? What is this? And number 9 is about the active engagement with what's going on inside us, the active engagement of what's going on in my head, what's going on in my emotions. That's what number 9's about. Remember, it's linked to the Hermit energy, which is Virgo's energy, which is all about diligence. And sometimes, Virgos, you know this, you can be hard on yourselves, you can be self-critical, and this energy is also here with that sort of vibe, if you will, is also here with this energy of the 9 of Swords. Now, what I would say to you is it's not about being critical, it's about being accepting. You know, I would say you have an experience and you don't have to interpret that experience. I've told you that. I mean, Bruno, he knows, Bruno, hi Bruno, you know, he's follows, keep listening to Raw, and he watches. And I said something to him the other day, and he said, you know, Ruth, I do that. I judge myself. You know, I'll tell myself, oh God, you're so stupid. I can't believe I did that. And this is like hearing all the stuff that you say. As I said, there's light the corners of your mind today, people. Light the corners of your mind, because there's going to be no door. There's going to be no door that's locked to you. And remember that freedom equals love, equals truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is the freedom that your mind needs sometimes, that we need to exercise this freedom mentally, that we need to consciously engage in that freedom of being able to just think it, being able to just see it, being able to just look at it. You know, your brain, my brain, is a television. I'm a visual learner. There's lots of different learners, and there's kinesthetic. There's which is people that want to do, like kids that want to learn by doing stuff. They have to learn by demonstration. I'm a visual learner, so I like, and some learners are auditory learners, so that they're just very good at listening, and they're like, everyone shut up, just explain it to me again, right, I'll get it. But I'm a visual learner, so for me it's visual. So I think of my brain as a TV. And I used to, and especially in moments like this, at times like this, people say, I can't sleep. I say, don't try to avoid what your mind's showing you. Look at the television. Your brain is a television. So your brain is giving you all this information. There's a TV, and the TV's there. Imagine your brain's a television, and you're trying to sleep at night, and you're getting all these images and all these sounds and all this stuff. What are you going to do? You're going to try to turn off. Your brain is a television, babe. You can't turn the volume down. The only way to turn the volume down is to bloody look at the TV, is to watch it, is to look at the images that are being shown to you, is to listen to the words that are being that you're hearing, the repeated phrases that you're telling yourself, the memories that keep wanting to present themselves to you. Instead of trying to ignore it, instead of trying to close your eyes and say, no, I want to go to sleep. It's not an accident. It's not an accident that those things are coming to your mind today, or whenever they come to your mind. It's not an accident. It's not like there's something wrong with you because you can't sleep. I mean, that's what I think is another thing which is lovely. I was watching, I wasn't watching the news actually. I was trying not to watch the news yesterday, to be fair, because it was very depressing. But she was talking about dreams, and she was, they always have psychologists on there. I tell you what, I know more about dreams than psychologists. But anyway, I digress. Not that I have I would have done psychology, but I'm glad I didn't. Because I think that in psychology, you only know what people tell you. And this is an example. So, for example, dreams, as she was saying, people are having lots of sleepless nights right now. People are having very vivid dreams or nightmares at the moment. This is a psychologist, some doctor or something. This is what you should do. She said, if you're having that, she said, what you need to do is you need to go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you need to think about what your favourite dreams are, and imagine and picture that in your mind, and try to go to that place. Now, I think that sometimes, to be fair, I do live mindfully. So for me, I dive in, yeah, and that's that level of intent. It's quite intense to do that, believe, as you probably know. And I wouldn't recommend, and it's not for everyone. It even says that in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's not for everyone. It even says that in the Gnostic Gospel that I was reading last night, Pistis Sophia. We get to the level of mystery that we can manage. So it's not for everyone to live as intensely as I do, if you will, with their experiences, or to engage as intensely or as forcefully as I personally do by practicing mindfulness, meditation, Reiki, and tarot. You don't have to. However, I when she was saying this about, you should do this when you're dreaming, blah blah blah, to get nice dreams, and some of you should and might, some of you try to do that if you're uncomfortable, if it's too much, if it's too intense, if it's too acute for you, then yeah, picture something, a peaceful scene. In fact, that was the first type of meditation that I did when I was about 17 years old. I'd close my eyes and I would picture a forest. And because I love trees, so I would imagine this forest, and I'd breathe in, and I'm breathing the forest. Oh, I can smell the forest, and then I can hear the waterfall. And I just do this in my head, and it was very nice and peaceful and relaxing. So some of you do that, but for those of you that are in that space where you're ready to engage, I would say to you, the best thing to do to stop that sort of craziness, and I use that word in the non medical sense, obviously. We sort of, I use it in a hyperbolic sense. We think, bloody hell, it's in my head, I'm going. my head's going like this, my head's going like this. For those of you that are in that sort of that are ready to look at it, the best way to quiet the voices or the images or the intensity of the images is to just look at them. It's to just observe them, because as I said, they're only there because they want your attention. It's not an accident. It's not to punish you. It's not to keep you awake at night because the universe wants to punish you so that you don't get no sleep, or because you've been a bad boy or a bad girl. No, that's not why these energies come. These energies are here for us to learn and to grow and to see, right? And remember, as I said, we're getting new. So it could, excuse me, it could be with dreams, actually. You know, this could indicate, you know, some dreams going on, some interesting dreams that we're having. You're getting messages through your dreams. You're getting messages through your dreams, or at night time you're getting however, you know what it's like when you go to sleep at night, and thankfully we all understand what I mean by that, because it's a very individual place, isn't it? No matter if you share your bed with a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or girlfriend, you know, it's, you put your head on the pillow and it seems like the only space that is yours. And sometimes you have these dreams, or you can't sleep, or things are difficult, and you just want to have your space to dream, and you just want to have your space to sleep. But actually, again, that's your space also to, it's also a brilliant space for your divine feminine, which is all about dreaming obviously, and your divine masculine to come, which is your conscious mind, to come to get to know each other more. And sometimes, you know, the divine feminine has to be forceful. You say, listen, you need to listen to this, you need to hear this, you need to see this, you need to experience this, because it's teaching you. I'm teaching you. And it's wise, and it's compassionate, and it's always with compassion. So even if it doesn't feel, even if it does feels quite abrupt, it's really for your benefit. This dark night of the soul, the things that we see, the things that we hear, the things that we realize, the things that we notice, coming into those realizations, the sleepless nights, it's necessary. And this is in the blessing position, remember, because it is a blessing. I always tell you, this is a blessing, this energy, to be able to see, to be able to hear, to be able to know the truth of what's in these dark corners of my mind, you know, the doors that I won't go to. I can tell you the strength and the security that you feel, and that I feel personally, by there being no corner left in my mind that I will not go. I mean, I don't even have, I mean, it's not even a room anymore. It's not, I used to like imagine it. And this is, as I said, there's lots of different types of meditative techniques that we can use. And I've used quite a few of them. And I just did them myself. I didn't, as I said, you know, no one told me. I just did them myself. My sister helped me with the first type of meditation when I was 17, as the forest one. Or did she? Anyway, I used to do that, and it was actually really relaxing, to be fair. Anyway, so there's all these different ways and techniques that we can use, but as I said, the most important thing, I think I'm going to have that as our title: love equals truth equals freedom. You know, the freedom, the strength, the personal power that you feel, that I personally feel, knowing that there's no place in my mind that I won't go. There's nothing that I won't think about. If it comes, I don't sit there going, oh my God, like, what can I think about today? Like, let me confront some stuff. Like, I don't I don't do that. You know, I'm mindful. So if I have the feeling, I will, or if I have the urge to, I will, but I don't sort of sit there going, right, let me investigate the psyche. Like, no, I don't do that. Okay. So, but when it comes up, like today, like yesterday, like the day before, when I was like quite like, oh my gosh, like, this is me yesterday. I was like, you know, we have the corona briefing, don't we, at 5 o'clock in this country. So Dominic Raab gets up, and I always watch it because obviously I try to be very sort of, you know, just keep in touch with the latest developments and stuff. But oh my God, I put that dude on mute. I thought, I can't not listen to you telling me about how many people have died today. I can't listen to it. I will like this. Yeah, I cried yesterday. I cried. I will like this. This for me yesterday. I will literally like this. I cried. I did. And, you know, I suppose, but the blessing, I suppose, the buried treasure that I discovered yesterday, I suppose, was that I told my friend, I left because I had about 80 WhatsApp messages, so I I couldn't read them all, man. So I just left a quick voice note for some of the groups, you know, two of the groups, my friends, obviously some groups of friends, and I said, I'm sorry guys. I said today, you know, I said I ain't been there, man. I said I can't, you know, today it's just been too hard. And then one by one in the different groups, you know, do you know what? I've been in bed all day, Ruth. You know, I've been in bed all day. I just can't today. Yeah, it's not been a good day for me either. Do you know what? I feel exactly, you know, and so I felt like, do you know what? In a way, it kind of made me reach out to people in a way, and then I think we all felt comforted, you know, by the end of the convoy. It got lighter after that, shall we say? So we supported each other. So there's always blessings in the things that we confront. Remember, in everything that we do, we serve ourselves. Now, 40 minutes is even too long for me, so I'm going to shut up. That was a long one, but Pista Sophia and Gnostic Gospel. I mean, I can't listen. The wisdom is unbounded, people. It's unbounded, and you just learn and learn and learn, and so that's why this is the perfect job for me. Okay, my darlings, I'm gonna go because this is long, and I don't know why it's taking so long today. Have a wonderful day, my darlings. Keep listening, keep hearing, you know, keep engaging. Remember, freedom equals love. That's the equals truth. That is the truth. Okay, that is the truth. So be free to go wherever your mind wants to go today, and know that you can handle it, because it's leading you to that sense of security, and to give you that foresight and that clarity to know that this is where I need to be, and this is where I should be. Okay, my darlings, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful Thursday, the last day of April, and I will see you all again tomorrow with your brand new reading. Take care, my darlings. Bye.